We're honored to welcome a true legend in both the media and community advocacy space. Monica May, many know her as a veteran broadcaster whose voice has been a trusted source of news, information, and inspiration for decades. But beyond the airwaves, Monica has dedicated herself to making a real impact in communities, championing causes that uplift families, empower individuals, and create lasting change. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Kimra, I'm so proud of you.
To see you.
It's good to see you too. Yeah. On the other side.
On the other side, you're in that chair.
Yes.
So first of all, you are such a great example of somebody who is not just sitting at home on her off days. I don't know when you sleep, but when did you know that you wanted to be such a huge participant in community work?
You know, I started out in radio almost as soon as I graduated from college. Yes, I graduated in May, started in September on my birthday. And I knew from my advocacy work when I was in college, at a HBCU first and then a PWI, that was important. It was important to be a voice for change for others, because people would come to me with all kinds of situations, and I was able to connect dots for them. And so whatever station I went to, that community affairs piece, especially for an urban radio station, is very important. So I always seem to slide right into that job, you know. And many stations, Kimra, if you went there, would still have some kind of maybe something small from me that I had started at that station still going on, because I would try to incorporate everything into the programming format so it didn't stand out as much. So that's what I did. And I learned how to do it really kind of just like, what would I need if I was listening? Well, these are some of the things that I would want to hear about. And to this day, that's what I do.
That's it. It makes sense. It makes sense, but this is amazing how,
yeah.
I think what happens sometimes with people is they see that there's so much going on and they feel like, you know, they don't know where to start. And I did notice that you have collaborated in the past with attorneys in providing, so for example, this parental rights program, and so that, I'm sure, bridging the gap. How do you recommend that people in the community space leverage the legal community?
Very good question, because Kimra, when I had questions about trademarking, I came to you, and I have run that show more than one time. Whatever the case may be, you can go to Orlando Justice, you can go to, it's various websites, and I just like to research. That's another thing. And then I call on my friends who are attorneys.
That's awesome. It's awesome that you have this platform for parental rights. What are some of the resources that you can share?
I just try to be that go-between. Just research what the person needs, what the family needs, and just start asking friends, start asking you guys. And Conti is good for me, and so many others.
In the family law space. And what are you finding when it comes to people in the community? Like, do people often come to you and ask you for various resources? And what are some of your favorite ones to share that maybe touch on something legal? So parental rights, we know, so social media rights, and the age.
And for social media, I always go to Dr. Rowe, Dr. Ronisha Randall. Now, for mental illness, if you notice, I do a lot on mental health. So Pernell Bush is one person, but I also go directly to NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness. And then I have friends who have struggled with it, and they're willing to come on. I did a mother and daughter piece that was really intense, where the daughter stopped her life, college. She was in school when her mom had a breakdown, and she just came home and cared for her until she could get back up on her feet. So stories like that, it's a human side to everything.
True.
And that's what I try to reach.
What's some of the feedback that you have received from your advocacy? So for example, as you go back to these old stations and you're seeing programs that you started, still, that's legacy.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of the biggest changes, or what's the highest compliment, I think?
I think the highest compliment, Kimra, is to see that my In the Street piece is still happening in Montgomery, Alabama, the Gump. I was a program director there, and I was a PD when...
What's that, the in the Street? Tell me about
it was just something where we would just hit the streets, and we'd have a topic of the day, and we'd pull it up, put a microphone on, and in the van just pop
go in
out
the street and
talk about it.
Okay.
So In the Street still works. Various markets. I'm trying to think of one for you very quickly, but well, one thing I noticed is that they hired me here for one reason, and then we established something called Star Cares. That still is in existence. So things like that, where you get the community affairs piece, because it's hard to find somebody that can do community affairs, do news, produce a show. Those are 3 different hats you have to wear.
For sure.
So yeah.
But also doing your due diligence and incorporating people from the legal community, and it was sort of to make sure that it's solidifying, you know, the information that's being put out there, because, you know, we have opinions, but then of course there's the law, and when you are collaborating with people in the community for that piece.
And whenever I ask, you guys never have let me down.
That's awesome. You gotta have a circle.
You know, so I do have a great circle.
Yeah,
I do.
same.
Orlando is really good for that. It's really, really good for that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we thank you. We thank you for coming here, and you look wonderful, and just encouraging us to be more involved. Sometimes things in general can be overwhelming, and it's always good to see somebody that's tapped into the community and stays there. You know, you're just not dipping in and leaving. But thank you for your commitment.
Thank you. And I'll say this, because I left for 3 years, and they brought me back to do this piece called Point of View. And it's because of that community affairs and the connection piece.
It makes a difference. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Monica May. It's so inspiring to see how Monica May has integrated her love for community in her work. So honored to have her on. Stay with us here on Legal Connections.